Hello, friends, family, fellow patriots. Lord Stompy here. Welcome to the show. Well, guys. Is anybody surprised that old Vax Daddy Trump is the president in power when the war with Iran kicked off? I really don't know what to say here. I've been expecting this for a long time. I'm actually surprised it didn't happen sooner. There's a reason Trump was selected for the White House by the powers that be. Trump is the MAGA conservative guy. And at this point in time, at this point in history, it's really important to get the remnants of the American conservatives on board with an Israeli war with Iran. So we've seen Trump and his Israeli buddies leveling Gaza and genociding the entire Gaza population. That's part of his legacy. That's why he was selected. He's the man to do the job. And now he is going to back Israel. And Israel have been the ones that have poked the Persians. They are not afraid to basically start shit fights with any country, any nation, anywhere in the world, as long as America keeps backing them up. As long as America and the Western allies keep backing them up. So they've got... Israel have NATO and the USA on side. So what that is essentially doing now, from a European nationalist point of view, is this is basically making the European people worldwide the enemies of the rest of human civilization. Essentially. This is what is happening here, right? You can stand there and say, not in my name, and you can deny that you've ever supported this, but at the end of the day, people are just going to see this coming war as essentially the Western nations, the nations run by white people, attacking the nations run by brown people. And this plays into a long-standing historical narrative that very many brown people around the world have. The white people are inherently very powerful, and that they love to flex their power around the globe. They love to meddle and interfere in other nations' business. And the story that the brown people tell me, look, they tell me this. They say, oh, well, you guys have been colonizers all throughout modern recorded history. And, we've been oppressed by you and all this stuff. Okay, there is some truth to this. We have invaded a lot of nations. And you can argue whether we brought those nations more benefits than harm. And you can argue till you're blue in the face. A reasonable percentage of brown people that I know, that they just don't see it that way. They're just like, white people bad. They have huge amounts of power. They love to invade other people's nations. And they love to meddle in other people's affairs. And we hate white people, essentially. Right? This is, whether we deserve this narrative being pasted upon us or not, this is something that's not up for moral discussion at this point in time anymore, right? Essentially, we're kicking off a really big war, and we've had a series of long-running smaller wars with the Islamic world, and now a really big step up in that war is occurring with the attacks on Iran. So a huge percentage of the brown people around the world are just going to automatically implicate people like you and me. Right, this is human nature. You can sit online arguing all you want that white people aren't that bad and that we're not responsible for Israel and Trump and NATO's actions, etc., etc. Human beings are fairly straightforward and simple, and they're just going to think, a large percentage of them are just going to think, well, white people are attacking brown people. This is what they've done all throughout their history. So, and never in our Western nations have we had so many hostile brown people. Never. Very funny that. So let's look at how this has played out across the arc of time. Was first of all, Zog went to great lengths to promote multiculturalism all throughout the West. Now, there is no denying. I actually have certain liberals and Jews who don't like my channel and they don't like what I talk about. And I'm saying what I'm about to say is for the benefit of my detractors out there, my enemies, right? Where over the arc of time, we have watched the Jews being very strong players in the push to create multicultural Western nations. And that's meant huge numbers of brown people, many who have turned out to be very hostile towards us, are now living amongst us. And now the Jews are kicking off a war against brown people, basically just a global war against brown people. And the Jews have Western backing. So how do you think that the brown people in European nations that the Jews have invited in, how do you think they're going to respond? All right? Do you think they're going to continue to be very placid and peaceful, and that they're going to take this lying down with a smile? I think not. Right? This is a really big problem. Multiculturalism has been a huge problem. I've talked about it extensively on my channel. And if we're going to kick off a major step up in our war against Muslim people worldwide, we're going to see a major step up from the Muslim people and their allies in our Western nations. Right? This is just how life works. Right? This is why I get so frustrated whenever I'm talking to liberals or conservatives or these kind of people that have no long-term appreciation. They have no appreciation of long-term history, of human dynamics, and they don't even think about medium to long-term geostrategy. All right, this what I've just said there, this is the price you pay for being a short-sighted dimwit. Right? This is the price you pay. You lose your nation. You end up living in a chaotic, hostile environment. You end up living in an environment with many other groups of people who are either competing against you or outright hostile towards you. Right? This is where we're at now. Right? And to all my detractors who are watching my channel, right? Why have none of you ever sat down and debated any of this with me? Occasionally, you liberals and you Jews it does get back to me that you're really annoyed with me. Yes, I'm blacklisted all over town as a musician. Right, the Jews and the liberals especially cannot say enough bad things about me. They cannot slander me enough in public and undermine me in every way, which they potentially can, because they're so angry about the things I say. Well, all these things that I've said today, if I'm such a bad, evil person, if I'm so wrong and bad and evil for saying what I have said today, you contact me. There's an email down below. You contact me. Sit me down and I will discuss anything I've talked about today with you live on camera, and we will see who is right. Do I make myself clear? Right, because up until this point in time, I've been opposed by ranks of rats and cowards. Right, none of you people can come and talk to my face about the issues that I'm bringing up. Can you? But you sure as hell can all team up behind my back and bitch and moan about me and sabotage me. And this is what you expect from Jews and liberals. They're a pack of craven cowards. They're weaklings. They've been in charge here in the West for far too long. And we, the European people, are now paying a very grave price in every way imaginable. We've had a huge loss of quality of life. We're now losing our wages. Housing is almost unobtainable. We're surrounded by hostile foreigners who are out competing us, foreigners who hate us, who are trying to sabotage us as a people. All of these things is because the European people have been ruled over by cowardly liberals and Jews. We've increasingly come under their dominion since the end of World War II. So, my European brothers and sisters, this is the price you will pay for allowing your inferiors to rule over you. Your people will end up destitute. They will end up stripped of their dignity. They'll end up stripped of their nationhood. They'll end up stripped of their basic fundamental rights as people. We're seeing all this happen now. This isn't me talking hyperbole. This is happening now to the European people as I speak. My God. This is essentially what the liberal Jewish leadership that have been in charge of the West for generations now, essentially all these negative consequences upon the European people and their nations that we are now seeing. These are crimes against humanity, right? The Kalergi Plan actually qualifies as a crime against humanity under the UN Code. And it's been the Judeo-Masonic liberal sector that's pushed the Kalergi Plan. Right? As this is where we're at. And essentially the regime that is in power now, the Zog regime that is in power in the West, they're not pulling back. They're accelerating their campaign of not just destruction of the West, but of the Islamic world as well. So this is something really the European nationalists, if you're serious about your nationalism and protecting your nations and your people, I've said this before on my channel, it's incredibly unpopular viewpoint that I'm about to say, and I always get a lot of thumbs down when I say this, but we really should, as much as we generally dislike Islam, and as much as Islam and Christian Europe should be separated into their separate regions of the world, we really should think about some diplomatic talks, with like strategic diplomatic talks with the Muslims, because essentially the Judeo-Masonic regime, they're setting the Christian West against the Muslim world, and both of us are losing. And it's not in our best interest for both of us to lose by fighting each other when there's a layer of people above us that are the ones that are instigating that fight. Now, to get things clear to my European nationalist brothers and sisters, no, I am not a fan of Islam, but you don't have to like a group of people to have basic diplomatic and strategic talks with them. Like hell, I will actually have diplomatic and strategic talks with African people if it serves a purpose. That's the point of diplomacy and strategy, right? You're meant to see a greater goal down the line, and you're meant to work out that if you can make some negotiations, even with someone who's your enemy, and it helps you get to your greater goal in the world, then it's worth it. Then it's worth negotiating with your enemy. Let's put this into perspective. There was some points in time where Hitler did negotiate with Stalin and basically get into an uneasy truce. And he sort of it was something strategically he needed to do at that time. So if we look at, if we white nationalists take a deep breath, step back, and try to develop some clear-headed long-term strategy that basically involves us disengaging from a global war with Islam so that we can focus on our own internal problems and repairing our own nations, this would be a wonderful step forward for the European nationalist movement. And it would be a massive step back for Zog. If their enemies, the Christian West and the Islamic world, and essentially that's what we are to the Jewish power brokers who run things, the Christian West and the diehard Muslim world centered around Persia and the Gulf states, they're the enemy. That's why Zog has set up this long-term war between us. We both sides, we're all being used as Zog pawns here. So let's think a little bit about this, right? Now, on a final note, I'm just going to say, as a ironic twist, did you guys notice that the conservatives and nationalists in America had some small wins recently? There was a bit of pushback against illegal immigration. Free speech has been restored to some degree. And here in Australia, they've now banned the not banned, but the government's now not, its policy is not to give COVID vaccines to pregnant people or under 18s. And these things came up, and a lot of naive conservatives and naive boomer-tards really were like, oh, we're beginning to win, this is great. And I was like, no, you're not beginning to win. This is not good at all. And what's really interesting is essentially our movements were thrown these small bones as a distraction just before Israel launched its huge strike on Iran. So that's it was a small bone to appease the conservative crowd. And the funniest thing is these aren't even wins, because the main thing that concerns me as a European nationalist, illegal immigration is bad. We have to stop that. That's actually fairly easy to prevent, because anyone without citizenship you can inevitably deport. What is much harder is legal migration from all around the world, from places, completely incompatible places and cultures. It's really hard to get those people back out. Once they've got a citizenship, they've basically got a legal right to spend the rest of their life in your country. So even these issues weren't really particularly good. And, you know, the fact that they've stopped giving COVID vaccines to pregnant women and under 18s, well, more than 80% of Australians have been given the COVID vaccine anyway at this point in time. So most of the public have been poisoned with the Jew poison. And so it's already job done. And here's why I get somewhat frustrated with the boomers, is the guy from Cafe Locked Out, Michael Griffiths, was like, oh, we're finally winning. Like, dude, you're not winning, man. It's, I appreciate the fact that Michael Griffith put in a good slog against the vaccines, but what these older boomers can't work out is that the vaccines were just another step in a long-term war against the global populations. And it's a war that's been running for generations. And it's going to run for generations more after I'm gone, unless God intervenes. God willing, please, God. At this point in time, we need you to intervene, because Zog has gone feral. It's gone worldwide feral. But yeah, that's why I get so frustrated with boomers. They'll pick small subjects to fight over, and then they get a small win in that subject, and they get like, yeah, we're winning. And it's like, guys. Come on, guys. Yeah, so that's... please, boomers, try to see there's a big picture. We're part of a global war that's been running for generations. And, we younger people are the ones who are going to have to fight that in the front lines. You people just, enjoy your retirement. That's my advice to you. All right. Thank you all for listening. God bless you all, and Deus Vult.